Hello, and welcome to another episode of Don't Poke the Bear. So today, I don't really have a single thing that I want to rant about, so I'm going to do something a little different here. We're all primarily cap collectors. We're here for the same reason, but, a lot of us, we have other things that we like to collect, whether it be sneakers, shoes, my case, I like to collect jerseys. I have a sizable jersey collection, and I know a lot of you have jerseys as well, a lot of things that you like to collect. So with that, there are some things over the years that have just really gotten under my skin about people who like to wear jerseys in public. And you'd think that after 20, 25 years or so, people wouldn't do some of these things that are annoying. You'd think people would learn, but they don't learn. People never learn. So I'm going to talk about some of those things today, and they are fitted related indirectly. So don't change that channel or anything like that. But so I'm going to do a little segment that I like to call Quick Hits. Let's get started. Quick hit number one. Okay, look, you're not Mike Trout, you're not LeBron James, you're not Tom Brady. Maybe your biggest accomplishment is maybe hitting the most home runs in MLB The Show 17 or something like that, or getting the most goals in a season in NHL 98 or I don't know, whatever like that. The point is, in those instances, if you're playing a video game, it's okay to put your name on the back of your jersey. But in real life, unless you play in one of those sports, do not customize a jersey with your own name. Just don't. It's like, what's the point? It looks dumb. It looks dumb. You're not fooling anybody. Nobody is looking at your customized jersey and seeing your name on the back and going, God, I wonder who that guy plays for. You think, should I get an autograph? You got a Sharpie? Nobody's doing that. Let me tell you a story. So back in the day when I first got into hockey, back in the Stone Age, we had a friend who was this huge Philadelphia Flyers fan, and he loved the Flyers. And he got himself a beautiful Flyers jersey. It was so nice. This is even before I had my first hockey jersey, so that was kind of like, oh man, the possibilities of how cool hockey jerseys are. And he got that sucker customized with number 88, Eric Lindros. But he put his own name on the back of it. And me and my hockey friends, all two of us, it's the desert. We're like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you take a perfectly good jersey, who are you impressing? It was dumb, and walking around the mall or wherever like that, or just anywhere, or a stadium, I guess, I don't know. But I remember when I worked when I worked retail, I would always see this guy wearing this Angels jersey with his own name on the back, and I just thought, why? And the dude had a huge gut and everything. It's like, you're not impressing anybody. Don't put your own name on the back. The only times when it's acceptable to put your own name on the back of a jersey is the aforementioned video game scenario. Maybe if you're partaking in beer league softball or something like that, and you want to put your own name on the back of, you want to do the iron-on letters or something like that. Or if you have a child, who plays in Little League or something like that, okay? And you want to get something to support them. So, for instance, my son played on the Pirates last year, and I wanted to support him, so I got myself a hoodie, so that I could wear to the games, okay? But I'm not walking around trying to convince anybody that I got this hoodie as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. Just not doing that, Don't do it. You're not impressing anybody. Why are you going to spend $400 or whatever it costs these days to get one of those horrible Nike jerseys and put your own name on the back? If you're going to go to that trouble to get your favorite team, your favorite player's number, why are you just going to put your own name on it? It's just don't do it. Just don't do it. I don't even know what else to say. Just don't. Don't do it. Quick hit number 2. This is an easy one. This is a no-brainer. If you're going to wear a jersey, hat's got to match. It's not rocket science. Do not wear mismatched hats and jerseys. It's not difficult. Sometimes there's a gray area, but those instances are easy to recognize. For example, acceptable. Also acceptable. Acceptable. Not acceptable. Kiss my ass. This is acceptable. This, I'm not a fan of it. 2 different eras. It's one of those gray areas. You could probably get away with it. Not my thing. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. This one, you got the colors rocking, you got the name, but no, you're not fooling anyone. You might be fooling somebody at the liquor store or something like that who doesn't know any better. I'm talking somebody behind the liquor store who's not going to know any better. But no, Kings, purple, no. This, just no. You're not fooling anyone. Kings, it's just no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Acceptable, obviously. Also, acceptable because the mountains remain undefeated. So my point is, it's self-explanatory. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Don't pretend you don't. Just don't do it. You got to look good. It's like your shoes and your hat. I know a lot of you guys are obsessive about them matching. You got to rock the correct jersey with the correct hat. Now, our very own Hat Club social media dude, you know who he is. He knows who he is. That, to me, is an exception because he knows what he's talking about and he can explain it. And he knows more than you do. So, yeah, that doesn't apply to him. You know what I'm talking about. Quick hit, number 3. And this one's important. When you go to a sporting event, whether it be a National League football game, NBA game, a NHL game, a minor league baseball game, wear a relevant jersey. Okay, now, I know that's, a lot of you are going like, hey, what's the big deal? I'm going to go to a Yankees game and I'm going to wear my Red Sox jersey, okay? Well, that's just dumb, and, that's like going to a Raiders game and wearing any other jersey. There's just some things you just don't do. That's a whole segment within itself that I just don't want to get into. But you know what I'm talking about. Don't go to a Vancouver Canucks game and wear a Miami Marlins jersey. Don't go to a Seattle Seahawks game and wear a Boston Celtics jersey. These things just, they don't make sense. Don't do it. And on television, when you're watching these things, there's a little game we used to play called Spot the Idiot. It's like, look for the one guy in the stands who's wearing the most out of place jersey. Like I remember one time I was watching the Senators and they were playing I think the Flames or something like that, and there was a guy wearing a Maple Leafs jersey. And I get it, it's hockey, but well, it's a Maple Leafs jersey, so that's a whole other, yeah. So yeah, don't be that guy. I was watching a Dodgers game once, and there was a guy in the stands wearing a Matt Ryan Falcons jersey, and he was like in the front row. Like, at no point did any of his, did he lose a bet? I mean, at no point, none of his buddies were like, okay, we're going to a baseball game, right? And that game's in Los Angeles? Just dumb. Yeah, don't do that. There are exceptions. If you're wearing something vintage, For instance, the Colorado Rockies jersey I wore earlier, the NHL one, I went to an Anaheim Ducks game, and I think they were playing Edmonton, and I wore that jersey because I don't give two shits about. I hate the Ducks, you know. But I don't have an Oilers jersey. But, you know, I wanted to wear something that I thought was cool. And wearing vintage, that gets you positive attention. We were sitting below the press box, and it was before the game, and I heard somebody calling down to me like, hey, hey. And so I look up, and it was the Anaheim Ducks, one of the play-by-play guys. He just looks down at me, and he just goes, nice jersey. So I was like, cool, okay, you know, so there are exceptions if you're going to do something like that. The other exception, and this actually happened, I saw this on TV one time, and it was fantastic, was watching a Seahawks game, and I'm not even kidding, there was a guy in the stands wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. And at first glance, I was like, no. And then I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? If you're going to go and make that big of a mistake, you know, his buddies probably told him, hey, you want to go to the Hawks game? And he went, psh, let me grab my Hawks jersey. So I give that. Plus, the guy was like 85 years old or something like that. So, yes, I give him, you know, and I'm getting up there too. So I cut those guys a little bit of slack. But, yeah, be careful about what you wear to a sporting event. Don't be the guy that stands out like a sore thumb because you're wearing something from a completely different sport, from a completely different time zone. You know, just it's not a good look. Don't do it. So in conclusion, these are not difficult principles to grasp and to understand. You learn these things from a young age. You know, when you go to kindergarten and you're sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce, you know that it's not cool to have mismatched shoes and mismatched socks and, you know, things like that. One of these things is not like the other. You know, you just know these things from the time you're 4 or 5 years old. They're just things that, they're concepts that make sense. Why can't we apply these things when we're older? I mean, a lot of you, as I mentioned earlier, you like to take great care to make sure that your footwear matches your headwear. Why can't the same principle be applied to your jerseys? Your jersey should match your hat. And I know there's some wiggle room, there's some gray area, you know, there's a lot of variations and a lot of, you know, different types of colorways and things that, you know, you can kind of apply them one way or the other, but they got to make sense. And you might think people don't know the difference or people don't care. We care. We are paying attention, and we know. We can spot the person who thinks that they know more than the other person. And, you know, does that make me sound like I'm some kind of a fashion snob? It might, and I'm not. I'm the furthest person from being a fashionista. But I know what makes sense when it comes to jerseys and hats and stuff like that. And it's simple. Don't do it. Don't put your own name on the back of your jersey unless your child is a professional athlete. Even a college athlete, I suppose, is acceptable. But if he or she is out there on the field and you want to be in the stands and you want to rock the jersey that they're wearing or something that has your name on it, that's fine. But you're wearing something that's officially licensed professionally. So there are exceptions. Don't be that person that's wearing the Mike Trout jersey, you know, with his number, but you got your name on the back of it because they're gonna go, oh wow, that guy's got a cool Mike Trout. Wait, who is that? Is it like some kind of throwback or something? You know, never heard of that. You know, don't be that guy. We know the difference. Real sports fans know the difference. So, yeah. And that's about all I got tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody. I don't care if I offended anybody because these are things that I believe in. And I'm just going to remind you, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, don't poke the bear.